Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. I did this last year and I decided I would do the same thing this year, so I'm doing my 24 for 2024. So these are my all-time favorite books of this year, and I'm not going to rank them or anything because that just seems too difficult for me because I love all of these books so much and I don't think I could rank them. It's like ranking your favorite child. So I have fantasy and romance in my 24. It was honestly really hard to choose 24. I was going to do like a series counting as one, but I decided to just do individual books. So there's some series that have like 2 books in them, 3 books in them, 4, but that's just, they're still my favorite books, if that makes sense. So anyways, we're gonna get started. I have 3 from my new favorite author. I started reading her books this year, and the first one I read was Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This book is seriously one of my favorite romances of all time. I just love the characters and the way that she writes. Like, it's very emotional but also fun. It's a romance that makes you feel more than just skimming through the pages and not really connecting with the characters. Her writing makes you really connect with the characters. But this was a really good introduction to Abby's writing, and I'm really excited to read the rest of her books. I've been putting off her last series because I don't want to read all of her books and then kind of be stuck, like just waiting for more books. I'm really excited for her new romance to come out in April. I literally cannot wait. And then the next one is Yours Truly, which is the second book in this series. As you can tell from the tabs, I really love this one. I really loved Jacob. Like, I really connected with his character, and he's a plant lover, and that was like when I got into plants, and I don't know, I really loved these characters and just the story. Like, it's very, very emotional, and like I said, she makes you feel a lot of feelings when you're reading. It's not just some little cheesy romance. And then I think this is my personal favorite from the series. You can see the tabs, there's a lot in there. I loved Just for the Summer. I felt like this was the perfect book, and there's nothing that I would change about it except making it longer, maybe, because I was so sad when I finished it. But I love Justin. He is my top tier book boyfriend. Like, no one really can compare to him. They can try, but they won't succeed. And then another series. I have all of the books in the series in here except for the first one. The first one I was not a huge fan of. It was okay. But The Right Move. This book is so good. I love Ryan Shea so much. He was pretty close to Justin, but he did not pass him. This book was just like, I'm glad I kept going with the series and didn't end after Mile High, because this book is definitely worth it. And I just love seeing Ryan and Indy's relationship change from like when they started living together towards like the end. And he is so sweet with like his sister, and he's just superior. And then Caught Up, this one is also really good. It's not as good as The Right Move in my opinion, but I loved Kai and Miller, and just like how he is such a good single dad, and he really cares about his son like more than anything else, which is how it should be. But he really shows like this is what it should be for dads and how they should treat their sons. And I really loved the fact that Miller was a chef. I love when there's like chefs and bakers in books. I don't know why. Maybe because I like to watch baking on TV, but I really love that aspect. And then I recently read Play Along, and Isaiah, he is probably one of my favorites too. He's pretty close to Ryan. I don't know if he passes him, but I really loved this book so much. And I love how it's Marriage of Convenience. Those parts, like those tropes are just always so good. And then Forget Me Not by Julie Soto. This one was super good. I did not expect to like this as much as I did. I kind of just went into it like not really with any expectations. It was put on Kindle Unlimited and I was just like, oh, I've seen this like kind of circling around Instagram, so I figured I'd give it a chance, and I loved it. I really loved like the wedding planner florist type of characters. I've never read a book like that, but I just love when there's like weddings and stuff in romance books. And this is also Grumpy Sunshine as well. And then one of my favorite authors, this is the first book, I know I've talked about it before, but this is the first book I read this year, Betting on You, and it was a 5-star. This is one of her YA romances. It's about Bailey and Charlie, and it deals a lot with like divorce and how they're kind of like helping each other like deal with their parents not being together anymore. And I really loved Charlie's character. I thought he was like just a perfect YA romance book boyfriend. I really hope she does a second one like she did for Better Than the Movies. I hope she does a second one for this one. And then Better Than the Movies, I recently read this and it did not pass Betting on You, but it was pretty close. I just feel like her YA romances, I've said this before, but she is just superior with her YA romance writing. Like, I don't think I've read one that I haven't liked. Yeah, because The Do-Over, I also really love that one. I feel like I like her YA romances more than her adult. But I love the idea of like the rom-coms taking place in here, and there's a quote in the beginning of every chapter. And I actually haven't read or watched a lot of rom-coms, so I didn't know like much of what was going on. But I just thought it was really cute how she kind of clung to rom-coms to feel close to her mom that passed. So I really love that. Her YA romances are just very, like Abby Jimenez, very emotional, and you don't expect them to be like that. Like, based off the cover, you wouldn't expect to be like tearing up, but you do. And then another series. I have 2 books from the series. First one is Heartless by Elsie Silver. This one is my all-time favorite from the series. I love Cade, and I love Willa, how she's so outgoing and extroverted and kind of brings Cade out of like his shell that he's in. And then I also, usually I don't like single parent tropes, but I really love this one too. And then the other one from that series is Reckless, and Theo is just probably pretty close to Cade with his character, but I loved this one. This one's accidental pregnancy, and she kind of thinks that he doesn't care because she reaches out telling him that she is pregnant and doesn't get a response. So that's how it kind of starts. I really love Theo, and this cover is so cute with the little matching boots. Very cute. And then another book by Elsie is Wild Love. I have not read Wild Eyes yet, but this was a 5-star for me. I loved Ford, and I love the idea that they're billionaires. So it's a little bit different than her other series, but you still get like the small town cowboy vibes. She's a newer author. I've read 2 books by her this year, but this was my favorite, You with a View by Jessica Joyce. This one was very cute, and I know a lot of people really loved it, so when I went into reading it, I was kind of hoping that my standards were high, and it definitely met my standards and exceeded them. The setting, the characters, everything was perfect. And Theo Spencer is just so sweet, and I love seeing his relationship with his grandpa. That was really cute, and I love that part. I'm now reading The X-Files, and I heard that one a lot of people like more than this, so I'm excited to see. Maybe that'll be a 5-star. It's been a while since I've had a 5-star, so. And then another author, I have The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. This one, I was kind of a little iffy going into it because just the idea like she can see and communicate with ghosts, and no one else like that she knows can do that. and she kind of has kind of like a romance with a ghost. He's in like the halfway point of like either he'll come back like out of his coma, I think it was, or he'll pass, and she kind of has to help him finish like one thing before he can go. Yeah, like he kind of has unfinished business, and they go to people that can communicate with ghosts to try to help them. So I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about that, but I loved it. It was super, I mean, I cried when I read it. I cry for all of her books. And then I recently read this one, A Novel Love Story. This is her newest release. And she is driving to a cabin by herself, and her car breaks down. She finds herself in like this really strange small town, and she shortly realizes that it's the setting of her favorite book. And she meets a guy there. They're kind of in the author's last like unfinished story because the author passed, and she thinks she has to like help with the book's ending. This one was not my favorite. I love The 7-Year Slip and The Dead Romantics more. I think I gave this one 4 stars. So it's still really good. I don't think I'll ever not like a book from her. And a series that I recently started, I need to finish the series, but Magnolia Parks. So I have the first Magnolia Parks, and then I have the first Daisy Hates. I think if I had to choose between the two, this would be the one I liked more than this one. But I kind of figured I was going to really enjoy these books because I love like the rich drama. It's like watching reality TV or like Gossip Girl, and I knew I was gonna like that. And I am excited but nervous to read the next one. I'm probably going to try to get to it next month. Next year I want to finish series that I'm in the middle of because there's so many series I want to start, and I don't like being in the middle of so many series. So I definitely need to continue on with this series, but so far I really love it. And then I have 2 fantasy series. The first one is the Once Upon a Broken Heart series by Stephanie Garber. The series has my whole entire heart. I love the series. I knew I was going to because I knew like when I saw it was Jack's story that I was going to love it, because anytime Jax is mentioned I'm like, where is he? I love him so much, and he's my favorite just character in general, favorite villain, favorite everything. And when he was mentioned in Spectacular, I was so excited when I saw Jack's gambling den. I was really excited. And anyone else who read Spectacular, at the end she kind of hints like the Magnificent North in it and how they're going to make a trip there. And I'm thinking, like, is she gonna write another series in this world, or like a novella for Jackson Evangeline? Like, I think I read that last epilogue like 3 times trying to just pick out any crumbs about like her next book, because I cannot wait. Like, I hope she does an announcement or something soon. Okay, I'm getting off tangent, but the series was very good. I think my favorite was The Ballad of Never After, but when this one ended I was devastated, and I'm so glad that this one was already out so I could buy it on my Kindle and read it right away. This was my least favorite of the series. I just felt like it ended kind of too abruptly and I had questions, so it still was like a 4-star, if not higher than that. And then this one was it was really good too, just kind of getting you into the story. But I definitely recommend this series, but Caraval, read that one first because you get introduced to Jack's character, and I feel like it kind of helps with like why he is the way he is in this series. And then the last series, the last books in here, I have Throne of Glass. So I have these 4 specific books. I've read all of them except for Kingdom of Ash. And I'm sure that one will probably be my favorite of the entire series. But these 4 were just my favorite so far. I think if I had to choose one, I'd probably pick Queen of Shadows to be my absolute favorite. But it's really hard to pick one because they're all so important to the story, and you can't have one without like the rest of them, if that makes sense. This one is just action-packed, and the way it ends is going to probably tear my heart out for Kingdom of Ash, because I just know it will. Queen of Shadows is also pretty action-packed too. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to ruin anything, but this one is when the storyline really picks up too. And then both of these is just like kind of a turning point in the story. This is when we get more into like her character, and yes, we have the Assassin's Blade and Throne of Glass, but this is when she begins taking back what she lost. That's all I'm going to say. And then this is when we get introduced to a really important character. But those are all of my 24 for 2024. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're not already, and let me know, do any of these match with your top books of the year? And if not, let me know which ones you're adding into your top 24. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!